Saw dudes, my name is Demo Impact and thanks for tuning back in. Today I'll be taking a look at the other legendary tier carrier, the Midway. I've been getting a lot of requests for this carrier, for one specific reason and one specific reason only. This thing is pretty hard to play. Unlike Hakuryu, you can't just regen planes back to back to back. You have to be quite conservative of the planes in a tier where A is very punishing, and one mistake, one evasive maneuvers charge, or one emergency power consumable would cost you most of your planes. Flying into random flak buffs is heavily punished when you're playing the Midway. Unfortunately, unlike the Saipan, where Saipan has tanky planes against weak anti-air relatively, the Midway has relatively weak planes for the tier, considering Hakuryu actually just has just a tad bit more HP on the torpedo bombers against very strong anti-air. Does she fare a little bit better than Hakuryu? Sometimes. Let me show you the build. Going into the build here, we have Ernst King with these following skills. If you are just now starting carrier play, as I've recommended in my other videos, I will show you another way to do this. But this right now, if you have Midway with good hands, if you have hands and you can use Midway, you know what to strike, how to strike, and if you can strike it, this is the premier Midway build using 4A here to take advantage of the improved HE pen of the bombs, which actually doesn't help out, isn't that insane. I would have liked for the improved HE pen to actually take over compared to something like the Hakuryu, because Hakuryu has a little bit weaker pen, but just pens just as much as the Midway. If Midway could pen the deck armor of the legendary carriers, Midway and Hakuryu, then maybe Midway would have some sort of advantage in a carrier fight, but right now, as it stands, Midway cannot do that, and therefore Midway doesn't have a significant advantage with pen against Hakuryu, even though it has increased HE pen, as it says here in the description, right there. Point of entry. It doesn't really make much of a difference between Midway and Hakuryu, but anyways, we've got this. I've got a good day's work, because in my time of playing carriers, especially the Midway, if I get struck, usually, swatting at flies or no fly zone isn't going to deter someone from striking me, so getting the damage con back and not allowing permafloods or fires to stick as long as they could is much better for me, especially in my in my playstyle, which I'm a little more aggressive with my carrier, using the actual deck armor of the Midway to come in close, go bow in, let the shells hit the deck portion, which is actually very thick. I'm gonna check that right now. 87mm deck. Yeah, that's bouncing all AP and shattering all HE. Excuse me. But anyways, here are my stats. Currently, I just got the Midway record, bounced it up a little bit higher to 269,000. I'm pretty sure Cranky Kraka, really good CV player. You guys go check him out on YouTube. He has over 4K in this carrier. It's actually an amazing game. I watched it too. But he has the XP. I've got damage. But yeah, that's another amazing carrier player to go check out, guys. Really good carrier player from UFO. We've got emergency power. Stronghold isn't nowhere near as powerful as it could have been. Maybe in an aggressive carrier archetype like Pabetos or maybe this would be good. But for now, emergency power is going to have to do, and it's going to help counteract the very slow planes that Midway has relatively compared to the tier. Hakuryu just outruns the competition right now. There's no way the BTDs are able to catch up to the J5Ns. Not at all. I think the J5Ns go like 40 knots faster if you build for it. Out of sight. If you're running a Saipan or maybe even a Lexi, I don't know if you're going to build for this for Lexi, but Hidden Threat is much better than out of sight. But for now, Midway has pretty strong bombers. I see Midway personally as a anti-tank, anti-like camper carrier. You can truly hit those guys for around 20 to 19k. 19k, 20k, that's around the average damage you can get with these bombs. So out of sight, improving the HP of the bombers, which, I mean, again, they have slightly less HP than the Lexington's planes, but I've seen a lot of people complain about Midway having lesser tankier planes than the Lexi, but the one thing that Midway does get is improved plane speed, 179, as you see there, improved further by Death from Above, +6, and Burn Baby Burn. Burn Baby Burn is a no-brainer here. I don't think I would be getting any more aggressive with these carriers. With a look at me now, because this thing Citadel is pretty big. Citadel is quite out in the open. Um, if you do get the chance to shoot at a sideways midway, a broadside midway, do load AP because that Citadel is massive. It's almost as easy to hit as Rangers, but if it is bow in, you should need to load AP, HE and hit the sides because this thing is gonna bounce from the top. Going on to the mods here, um, again, no brainer for a carrier. Um, there really isn't much building that we can do. We can't go plane speed because these things need the HP and the return speed because these things don't regen as fast as Kuryu's only 77. I think that's almost mimicking Saipan's plane regen. So losing the planes faster or just getting tougher planes in a tier where the AA is just deadly strong. Des Moines, Worcester, Colbert, even Stalingrad gets some very long range anti-airs, so you gotta watch out for the flak. I'd 100% build for plane HP here and never for the plane speed. So yeah, on the other inspiration, if you don't have Space Fishy, you need to get him, especially for the Midway. Because Midway's torpedoes go 44 knots. If we go take a look at the Saipan here in a second, which is the quote-unquote counterpart to it, it's 50 knots, 60 knots faster. Yeah, so you need all the torpedo speed you can get, and especially saying that American carriers can't build for torp speed in any of these slots, so you need the torp speed in the auxiliary slot, which Space Fishy would get. If you don't have Space Fishy, of course, I would recommend Boyd. Boyd is very good actually in these high tier carrier gameplay because if a carrier wants to snipe you and you are spotted by them, your 9.5 detection range by sea, which is helped by the camo and mod 3 and slot 3, will go down to around 7, and it's actually very, very nice because your A is very strong, pushing 5.6, so they only have like a 1.2 kilometer range to spot you, and fighters have a 3 kilometer circumference for the circle that they rotate in, so they're gonna have to dip in and out in that interior, and Boyd just makes that gameplay of an aggressive CV very nice, and it's just a really good alternate to Space Fishy here in high tiers. But for an A right now, as of the buff that they gave it a while back, it is absolutely a must-have. In practice, Midway seems very strong with these 20k average damage torpedo bombers and dive bombers. By the way, yeah, both of them hit for around 20k in one strike if you are pinpoint enough and you get a good drop cycle. You can deal some severe damage, crippling any battleship, like wasting a damage con. It's almost guaranteed damage con with the bombs. But there is one chink in the armor. Cruisers at this tier destroy this thing. Minnow, Minnow can heal back the bomb damage, and with the improved propulsion mod that the British cruisers get, Minnow can dodge the torpedoes. Worcester, it's almost the same. It doesn't get the healing power, but it does get a little more accurate flak from my experience. Colbert is very agile, but you can't death strike the Colbert with the torpedo bombers. Moving on to the large cruisers, we've got Napoli, Alaska, and the Stalingrad. Stalingrad gets crushed by the bombs, so does the Alaska. They also can't turn as well, and the torpedoes just do disgusting amount of damage to them. So around half of the cruisers, Napoli, Alaska, and the Stalingrad, for the larger cruisers, Midway gets a favorable matchmaking. It's the smaller cruisers you have to worry about. You can decimate the smaller cruisers with a lucky drop pattern, which I don't recommend dropping the bombs onto the lighter cruisers. You know, Worcester, Colbert, Minnow, Des Moines, and the upcoming Henry, which they did just tease, and Holland. Like, oh my god, like right now, as I'm making this video, we are seeing like so many AA ships come out. We just saw the small one come out. The other one's Holland's coming out. God, I don't want to fight a Henry at range with I think on PC it got like Bourgogne anti-air, which is Bourgogne and all the Frenchies really, they pick up a lot of flak and anti-air damage at high tiers. We check, they have this really nice anti-air pod that's just it's really good. It starts at like 4.5 and it deals disgusting damage. Yeah, there it is. The 55 right there. They're on the sides right there. They are disgusting. Colbert has them. Republic has them, and I'm pretty sure Henry has them. Colbert has them too. Not just the Colbert, but a lot of these things that Saipan could counter at tier 7, Midway just can't. Saipan at this tier doesn't have much to worry about, really. I mean, it's just the heavy AA battleships like the Missouri, all the Americans really, except for the cruisers at this tier, except for Rochester. But Midway right now, honestly, it's not looking good for her, man. I know a lot of people recommend the Midway, but I gotta be honest, man. The Hikuru is just, it's gonna see a good meta. There's so many anti-air ships that are coming that Midway is just going to struggle in this meta. Like, imagine once people start rolling out Holland, ooh, those planes are gonna absolutely struggle to hit anything. We're gonna have to see another legendary carrier deal with this. Maybe Nahimov or the Richthofen, Audacious. We're gonna need more variety because right now we've got a cruiser killer and we've got a battleship killer. We don't have a destroyer killer yet. I feel like Nakamov would fill that role perfectly, even the Richthofen. But yeah, Midway just needs really good matchmaking to work. It is honestly, it's a bunker buster. Honestly, it's just 2 words: bunker buster. This thing crushes battleships, and I'm gonna show you that in a training room here in a second. Let's flip to that now. So going into the training room, I picked 3 of the more preferable targets from Midway. I picked Shima, Stalingrad, and the Yamato. Stalingrad is a little bit rare to see, but it fills in for Alaska and Yoshino here in a second. Yamato is probably the most common battleship you'll see at Legendary, with the exception of Schlieffen now, and Shima. There she is. For destroyers, you want to aim the length of destroyer in front, because these things do run pretty fast at Legendary tier. Shima averaging around 40 knots when you build for it, and there's the drop. Keep in mind, there's a lot of RNG when it comes to these drops, so these drops are gonna take a little bit of skill. And here's what I like to call the angle drop. You come in from an angle, and you start turning in hard. And as soon as you hit the 2-second mark, you let go of the turn, and you let the aiming reticle do the rest for you. I'm gonna show you that later on as I strike the Yamato and Stalingrad. But here we go, striking the Shima. Again, this bot's actually doing a really good job of impersonating Shima players and randoms by dodging. But yeah, there's the one whole length of the Shima, and there he goes. I had really good RNG for those 2 drops, but as you can see in the top right corner, 17-9 damage. And here goes the Yamato drop, where I dropped these battleships at. I like to drop them on the stern, where a lot of HE spammers haven't saturated that area yet. A lot of people just aim when they're in gunnery ships. They aim for the midsection, so I try not to saturate that too much to let them get the damage too. But in these 2 drops, you'll see that I like to go for the stern. I'm more preferred to the stern for the Yamato, Montana, and Conquer, because there's a lot. It's just a flat area just to drop. Here's an angle drop. For example, you see I go for the drop. The boost meter only comes up a little bit, full turn, and then I let the reticle do the rest and drop. Just showcasing how flexible these bombers can be. You can be very liberal with your turns on these BTDs. I'm gonna go showcase what these bombers can do to a tanky cruiser like Yoshino. Not really tanky. Yoshino, Stalingrad, and Alaska. Again, Midway is the hard counter to those 3 cruisers. The light cruisers have to worry about the Hikuru. Here comes another angle drop. This one not as perfect because of the RNG, but look at the boost meter. I don't use a lot of boost here. I just go for a very liberal turn, and I drop. And I still do 10k with a fire. 3 of them dropped, and unfortunately he will burn down to death, which it's okay. I kind of wanted to showcase the torpedo bombers, but there's not much to showcase with torpedo bombers here. Usually when I play the torpedo bombers in a Midway match, I just play like a beta, like I do my Kaga. You can't be wasting these torpedo bombers unless you're going against a Yamato or any German battleship at Legendary tier that has relatively weak A compared to its companions. But yeah, that's the curving drop, the angle drop, and what this can do to very armored ships. Yeah, I'll see you in the gameplay. So going into the match, I have my boy Raptor in the Worcester. Whenever I play Midway, I probably wouldn't play this thing solo. Hakuryu is my solo ship, guaranteed. At Legendaries here, if I need to play solo, I'll either play Napoli or the Hakuryu. Great solo carriers and a cruiser. But Midway needs to be played in a division because it is heavily dot reliant for damage, and to get rid of most ships, you actually need someone else's help because if you fight a Minnow or a Colbert or even a Worcester or Des Moines, you're gonna need help with that because their anti-air is devastating and they can have some very good maneuverability. So going for the early spots with a single squad, put down fighters to engage his, and even though a dogfight happens, even if one particular squadron wins, in this case Hakuryu's won, this guy's clear because they've already expended their ammunition on my fighters and they're gone. So I've got complete mid control because he moved to C. I see this lone Yamato, so might as well start the game with some chip damage. And on the way, I spot the Shima, so that's automatically moved up to priority list. Going for the early drop on Yamato here. Once again, I'm going to try to target that stern. Hopefully HE spammers can target the midsection. So I'll try to get rid of the backside. There's two fires. If he extinguishes, Raptor's there to set a permafire. If he doesn't, oh well. Going with the torpedo bombers here just to try to get rid of the Shima. Just a tad bit better. Because he's going to mid, so he's going to have a lot of angles to deal with. And giving him just another angle instead of a bomb drop is much better. Just so he has to turn a little bit more. Unfortunately, he did pop up like way in mid, so my reticle's actually just confused. It's just a shotgun right there. Colbert does MBRB, which is very nice. But we will tag him with the torpedo. Unfortunately for Colbert, he did push up a ton just to get rid of the Shima. So now he's spotted by the Yamato in the back that I struck. And even worse, he's pushing into a Schlieffen's sonar, which means the Schlieffen is now the top priority for me. And because Midway is a bunker buster, this is absolutely preferable for me. Going for the strike here. Again, Midway strikes, on average, if they connect, they usually do around 19 to 20k. Yep, there you go, 19,000. All four connected. But unfortunately, Des Moines pops up, which has a super heavy AP. So in order to fight improved pen angles, I have to help out Raptor by giving the Worcester another angle to worry about. Colbert does pop the assistance call out, but unfortunately Worcester is much bigger priority right now since I can't just walk through that Schlieffen, Yamato, and Verdi anti-air and not get away with it scot-free. So I have to target 1 instead of 3 here with Raptor on the Des Moines. Midway can strike cruisers, but it's very limited because the cruiser's maneuverability will help dodge most of the attacks, and their anti-air is going to let a single plane get away with it. So again, I'm just going for a very conservative drop there. But this next one, since I'm out of EM charges for now, I will go for a more liberal drop here. Try to get all 4, maybe even kill him. Raptor can only shoot 2 guns because he doesn't want to get broadside to that AP. It is very disgusting. Going for the drop there. Boom. That should be Des Moines down. Unfortunately for us, though, we did lose the Colbert. So usually you want to play protect your destroyer from other destroyers. But since that Colbert did just run into the Schlieffen sonar, there was nothing I could do since there were 3 battleships there, and I couldn't just sacrifice most of my planes. Popping the fighters to contest these guys' planes, and Raptor's anti-air just shreds through the enemy's fighters, so we have air superiority in mid. I saw that Yamato had pushed up to the island, so he's probably beached now, which means he's probably going to camp. So that is my main job, just to get rid of the campers. There goes a shot. And yeah, he's got a disgusting crossfire in C. I want to try to eliminate this, use an EM charge there. And again, I'm going for the stern. Hopefully my teammates can target the midsection. And there's a disgusting amount of damage with 2 fires. And I'm going to come back to strike again. He did damage con, so I can definitely punish this.
Look at other ships for other stats. Unfortunately,
The poor dude launches a fighter, which looking back at it now is just a cry for help. Going for the second drop here. Again, targeting the stern. Hopefully teammates can shoot him, and there is a perma double. So he did pay the price for damage conning early, and this is a little mistake that I did. I want to showcase this mistake because truly this is something you don't want to do in Midway, is just waste your bombs or torpedoes. So I did go for the early drop there, which is something you would always want to do with Midway, but I absolutely fold, and I see that the Schlieffen needs to die, and I didn't notice the battleship in mid, and that Raptor was actually shooting him, so I kind of panicked, and I went for the Schlieffen instantly, because I kind of wanted mid-control bad. See, the destroyer missed all the torpedoes on Verdi, but he did connect some onto the Schlieffen. Go for the 4. Raptor does pick it up, so that torpedo strike was useless. Unfortunate, but we move on. Checking out this positioning, we do need to move out of there, because that Verdi at any time could just go north. There's the spot bottom left of the game, below where it says Midway and the carry icon. You can actually see when you're spotted. This is going to come in useful later. I'm going to showcase that when the Hakuryu is going to strike us.
Bruh. Don't know what the fuck that was.
I see that Raptor is spamming the Verdi, which Verdi was my original target, but I go for the Yamato here because he's one shot. I might have enough alpha to finish him, and dropping the Verdi just would be overkill.
Let's go, baby.
There's the Arsonist. We can actually recover and recall these planes right here. Boom, going for the torpedo strikes because I don't want to burn down the Verdi anymore. But we are still spotted by planes, as you can see in the bottom left corner. Down goes our Burgoyne, so it's back to a 3v3. But they do have a slight point advantage because Raptor is in a cruiser and they have an extra battleship alive. He's trying to get what he can from his guns. Yamato is running, which is a good thing. I know that this Verdi needs to go straight in order to catch up to Raptor, so he has to turn back in. So I can just go for a very, very liberal strike onto that Verdi. And unfortunately, here's the risky part of Midway. Midway Citadel is very, very big compared to most other carriers, and just like Ranger, can get blapped out of the water with just a precise volley. Here come Hakuryu's bombs, but thankfully, Hakuryu or Midway can't pen each other's decks, so that is a safe squadron for me. But his spotting from the fighters and the bombers will alert Verdi to our position, and he might even take a nasty shot. Going for the bomber here, because I did see our Wooster was slinging HE, so he might be damage con down. There go the bombs. Dispersion was a little less favorable there, so we only got 3. And Verdi did take a shot, so we're going to be praying that this doesn't death strike us.
Please have the worst Italian dispersion of your life. One Citadel.
Very lucky, but we only did take 1. And our damage con, but our damage con is down, so Hakuryu, if he tries to get a permaflood and he succeeds, game is over because we can't catch up to him because we need to kill the Hakuryu now to win the game. Even in the late game, I'm trying to save my torpedo bombers because I did see Republic is last alive on the sea flank. Hopefully our planes returning should spot the Republic, and hopefully Yamato gets a reset off of that. But he was shooting the Verdi, so that chances of that happening is less likely. Torpedoes down. Hopefully Verdi goes down with that. Trying to help out the Yamato with the anti-air. And there's a flood, which means guaranteed death. Death from above is now active, so now we take less damage.
Oh, can we reset this guy, please? Please?
Trying to scope the area, but Republic does take a shot. Unfortunately for him, we will get lucky again. There it is. And if you look at the bottom left corner, I'm going to be checking to see when planes are coming. Right now, it is a kind of like an aiming reticle. That means someone shot at you, and 10 seconds need to pass before that reticle can go away. There's a double fire, so we can come back with planes, hopefully damage cons. Checking the bottom left corner again. There it is. Planes are on the way.
Although Hakuryu's still printing out 2 bajillion planes.
But thankfully, thanks for Death from Above, we can actually tank this one. And maybe even some shots from Republic, since we are Bowin. Although we do not have the distance for shells to go into the deck. And here is where our like bites us in the ass. He is damage gone down, but we get a triple fire, and unfortunately for us, this guy has fight fire with fire. What are the odds? And Republic gets a nasty nose drill. Bottom left corner has switched to an eyeball, which means the Republic is spotting us now. Unfortunately for us, we just need to blitz this. Hopefully Yamato gets a decent volley. Torps down, he shot, Yamato shot. Yamato got an absolute drill through the nose, but so did Republic to me. Nailed him, that's our Kraken. Going for yet another pre-drop because Hakuryu D needs to die, in case I die.
Can I get Carrier King in the chat? Yeah.
Death from Above is still active, so even if he targets me, it's not the worst thing. Coming in with extra planes here, just because I am out of evasive maneuver charges, and Hakuryu's anti-air is very good.
Am I gonna eat any of those warps?
Keep in mind, guys, the anti-air at Legendary tier is disgusting, so even though these damage numbers are pretty high, I'm just usually just hitting battleships, just showing how to hit battleships, when to hit battleships, when to target destroyers. Here comes the drop onto Hakuryu. As soon as that plane gets lit on fire, I know when to drop because that thing is at 33% HP. If you guys didn't know, when a plane starts to smoke for the first time, it is at 50% HP, but when it starts to burst into flames, it is at 33%. Wargaming doesn't reveal that, but going off of PC, that is what the numbers are.
Fuck, this is gonna be a monster game if we win. I'll say that right now.
Trying to find the Hakuryu. He did go left the first time, so I'm trying to check if maybe I can get him on his turn.
Which is held by me.
And remember, Hakuryu can't pen Midway's deck, or vice versa, so this drop is going to be completely safe from us. Or we're safe from his drop. Plane goes into flames, and I instantly drop because I don't want to lose that for torpedo drop. And we have an extra plane here to tank for a little bit of AVA damage. Hakuryu goes for the run. We tag him with 1. Wasn't a lot of damage, only around 3,000. Yamato is tanking, so Yamato is capping, so now Hakuryu has to pick between killing me or killing the Yamato. There's the Hakuryu. Hopefully my Yamato can take shots. And bingo, he gets the Citadel. Hakuryu, unfortunately, is targeting me. Bottom left corner. Again, it turned into a plane. So he's right above us. He's going to absolutely dunk on me with 1, but I am still 1 HP. So I'm still a threat. Plane goes on fire, and I instantly drop. I launched bombs here, not because I can pen his deck, but because I want to start a fire. I did start a flood on him earlier with that first drop, so maybe if we set a permafire, we can kill him. Going for the pre-drop, and it's not needed because we kill him. 269k with 3.9k base. It's a very nice midway game. We did have preferable matchmaking, so Hakuryu was instantly at a disadvantage, but I'll talk to you later. So, looking back at that game, we were definitely very midway favored. Hakuryu couldn't farm as many cruisers. We only had to really worry about the Des Moines. Other than that, I just showcased most of Midway's strong features. Is really going for that bunker buster roll, anti-tank. Getting rid of the battleships. That Yamato, had he stayed there in that position, could have absolutely crushed our sea flank even harder than it did. So, getting rid of destroyers is truly priority number 1 with the Midway. There's the stats. Right now, 206 battles with 2.2 average base. That's very nice in a carrier, especially at the higher tier. Unfortunately, I feel like Hakuryu's absolutely gonna have the meta for most of the time, since Smallland and now Holland is on the way. So getting rid of destroyers will be a top priority, but keeping your planes alive is going to be an even bigger priority. But thank you guys for watching. in the end, in concluding this video, I think Midway could probably use a buff. Right now, Hikuru is probably gonna stay as my top legendary carrier, but yeah. Let me know if you guys are interested in the comments for another video. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.
You know what doesn't suck? You know what doesn't suck balls? You know what doesn't suck balls? Ice cream. You're bad, kid. You're bad, kid. You're bad, kid.